pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is John working tonight?
Yes, he said he'll be here around 7 because Nick can't get here until 7.
All right,
So I figured we could do the school first.
all right. We will start with a review of the school budget.
You guys already did it once, right?
Yes,
I wasn't here.
at the school.
I was in Florida. Yeah.
I have not heard of any proposed changes from the school board. As far as you know, they're waiting to see if we had any changes that I could present to them on Wednesday night.
I ain't got my book in the truck, I think.
I think this is all new stuff anyway, right?
Oh, it's a school budget.
The school's not in the new stuff, it's in the.
No, it's no stuff.
Okay, all right.
You can look on with me if you want.
Maybe another copy.
Mike, do you want me to go get your book?
Could you please?
Yeah.
Oh,
Could you give me the idea
Oh,
where it
it's right
might
over
be?
there? Oh, yeah, we will get it.
Where might it be?
It's right on my center console.
Wow.
I couldn't figure out how to carry it in.
Yeah,
Should have hollered at one of us.
yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna holler and dig it out.
We'll be glad to.
So you're like automatic buses now, huh? You're like automatic buses now.
That's all we got.
I know, that's a good.
Yeah, if it was a standard bus, I'd take it.
Yeah.
There is some school stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? And it's been like 4 months.
David, can I ask you a question about school needs?
Sure.
Did Emily talk about how carry forwards would be applied to the budget? Or how much, or how that's?
She said she didn't have any carryover.
There isn't any,
It was good.
so there won't be any.
She said she's gonna use all of her budget.
So
She was
so last year there was 125,000 in carryover and then 152,000 in change from carryover from undesignated fund balance, which I'm not sure what that is, which offset the tax. But this year there's 0. Therefore there's, what is that? 278 about $1,000 not going into it. You add that to the 298 that the budget went up, and you're at 506 in increase,
And there,
which is a 13%
And they were-
increase.
I'm just surprised there would be 0, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
They just don't expect.
They were operating at,
Yeah.
right on the budget line. Right, exactly, almost.
Okay.
39% left, 33% of the budget left, where it was right almost exactly to the number.
And last year, they thought they were gonna start with 1 kindergarten, and they ended up having to have 2. So she had to rearrange teachers and ed techs.
And tuition was not 3% or 4%, it was 7 or 8% increase.
Yeah, it was a lot higher
A lot higher than the
last year than
budget
what they
before.
thought.
So
So
that
that's
took
why.
care of any bonus surplus, undesignated funds.
Yeah, so I mean, bottom line goes up 506,700 and change. So,
Which is a 13% increase.
right,
We had talked about the school after cutting the nursing position to half-time. And Emily's feeling that was that she did not want to be, in a lot of cases, a nurse anymore. There's just too much that can go wrong. And there's some students who need medical assistance during the day. So she did not want to do that anymore at all. So I don't see how we can justify cutting the nursing back to 2.5, or what is it really?
Well, if one of those things that's sort of high risk if something happens and it's not there.
It's high risk for her,
Yeah.
the school, the town.
Is she allowed to give out meds?
I don't know exactly how that works.
You can get training, and so anybody who has that kind of training can do that, but
Doesn't she have enough on her plate now, though?
I would think so.
yes,
And plus you've got, anybody with diabetes is even more
Right.
involved, so.
right.
Right.
My feeling is that is not an option.
And it was, there was some personal care and stuff too that was being brought into that. It was just, it's nursing.
Yeah,
It's not
it's real nursing,
principle.
not just Band-Aids.
So I didn't think that was a good place to cut,
Is it possible an aid or,
No.
not the medical one.
no, I mean, we're talking about cutting the nurse in half, I'm saying instead of the nurse, maybe one of the aides and the nurse could cover an aide position sometime. I mean, it's really tough, I know, it's just,
I think it's something, as a town, we can't take a chance on it, this day and age.
well, I don't mean the medical, I mean cutting a different position besides the nurse.
Make the nurse the tech at the same time. I see what you're saying.
That's two different options, I mean, you have the nursing position, but then maybe there's another ed tech or some position that can be.
In overall
Me
staff.
too, but yeah, it's just a different position, and then the nurse could maybe cover some of that when they're not doing the nursing. I don't know,
Yeah, well, it's worth mentioning.
because it's harder to have an unskilled person do nursing, but if the nurse was not busy with nursing, could do,
If,
I don't know.
The problem with the ed techs though is their programs are set up to assist consistently certain students, some of them are one-on-ones. And to have somebody step in, it really does a number on
Right,
the child's education. And
yeah, I don't disagree.
and I don't know if
Yeah.
a nurse would be all, he or she may not be qualified at all to be an ed tech.
The
Right.
ed techs have to be certified
Right,
with, and you need a certain number of education courses.
so basically you're saying there's like really no option here.
Did she
The
give
only
you-
option, go
Did
ahead.
she give you the list of the COVID breakdown, COVID money breakdown?
No, that's, was,
I thought she said that was over.
the COVID money spent.
Yeah, but I had asked her for a list, she said she was gonna get it for us on what the COVID money was spent on.
Oh, yeah.
Most of it was all spent on the building itself, the ventilation systems, changing expensive valves in there, like $25,000 to $30,000 for the valve and controls.
Yeah,
the
some
neighbors
boiler
and-
stuff too,
Yeah,
right?
some
Boiler
boiler stuff.
stuff.
And I think there was some,
I thought she said there was a tie-in to like, one of the positions or something that was spent.
there was on one of the,
Was it the nurse?
it may have been the nursing position,
I think it was
that
the
they
nurse.
partially funded. And then that funding is running out. There's nothing left of that COVID money. It's spent. We did talk about, was it $60,000?
Who's got her hand up?
I'm sorry.
I just want to bring it to your attention before you talk about cutting. I ran some numbers on the tax rate calculation. I talked to John about how many building permits he did. There's about 20 new dwelling permits out.
As in homes or businesses.
Homes, new homes.
West Bath.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
I did not count decks, I did not count sheds, nothing, just dwellings.
and gave them an average,
And I went with 15 because some of them were given out this spring. And I can tell you there's probably gonna be $5 million added to our assessment.
just to
And
clarify,
that's generous.
and did you give them an average price, or just,
I went with 450,
okay.
but
Just to
some
clarify,
of them are a lot higher.
just to clarify on the cutting I'm talking about now,
Mhm.
when we left the meeting, Emily and Keith said, well, wanted us to discuss it and see if we saw any reasonable ways for them to cut the budget. We have to say, saying, cut, cut, cut. They asked us to look at their budget and say, can you find any savings that we're missing? consider that. So this is not a meeting just to cut per se.
Yeah, but when I added all the numbers up, all the current budgets, including the county, and I was a little increased in the revenue, but that would, adding that 5 million value would keep our mill rate pretty much the same.
When's that coming online?
That's not of the public knowledge. That's just rough numbers.
Okay.
You mean the home's coming online?
Yeah, just the,
Well, it wouldn't be assessed until next April 1st.
well, that's true.
Well,
They will be assessed. That's building permits for this April 1st. They're not on the computer yet,
Right, but
but they'll be included in this tax
were
year.
they built and 100% done on April 1st? Or were they just building permits?
That's why I went with the 15.
But you,
I talked to John about what's
Okay.
completed
Oh, I
and
got you,
what's
yeah,
not.
'cause it's
Yeah,
just, yeah, until they're done, you can't take 100% of the value,
Yeah.
no,
so.
but they're done.
Right, right.
but just so you know that information.
Thank you.
The way this is set up, is difficult.
So, sorry, so you're saying with the increase from the school, which is over $500,000, and the increase from this budget, whatever it is, because I haven't seen it yet, that the mill rate isn't gonna go anywhere because of the increase of those properties
Properties and the revenues.
and the revenues?
So, what did you want to do?
I was just gonna say, it's difficult to see what, a first grade teacher makes, something like that, because of all the salaries are lumped together, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose if you were looking to actually try to cut.
Well, I don't know as it's, you do much, it's all contract, it's a union contract.
Yeah,
You
right,
can't-
I
You
mean-
can't cut that.
To me, it's not that thorough, really. Maybe around the corner, around the edges, but nothing that's substantial.
No, nothing good.
It didn't seem like there was anything really extra.
I didn't see it this year, but last year I got that impression, certainly.
I don't see anything really extra.
They've held their budget quite well the last few years, but,
Yeah.
they have $60,000, $62,000 in there for repairs and maintenance, which includes some of the, cleaning of the buildings. I don't see a lot there to cut.
Is it money there to fix the parking lot?
Yeah, that was the parking lot, and that's
Yeah.
60,000, I'll take all of that.
Well, she wasn't gonna pave the whole thing, she was talking about patching it this year, repairs. I think when she does the school, parking lot, it should be done in conjunction with the town doing paving, so perhaps we can get this thing at a better price. Anybody have any other thoughts on any possible cuts for the school that they haven't seen yet? I don't see much.
I think we'll be lucky if they can do it with that, and they don't have surprises with new students and whatnot in the fall.
And this is also the 9th year of the 10-year. So next year, the schools are going to find a designated school, host school, for us to send our students to. So they're going to start that process. And they are putting off the roof for one more year. The company that's done the roof for years said the roof is good enough for at least one more year. So the plan is next year, and it'll be around, what, 400,000, I think she said, to do that roof.
Was that the entire thing, or was that in
That's-
sections of three?
That's the whole thing.
The whole thing, oh, good.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They decided to do it in sections. And the roofing company said you got at least one more year left. It also should be noted that one of the biggest increases is in special education instruction. $125,000 more. As not actually do about that, the state of Maine changes their rules on special education.
Right, and she did say that the special education is the only portion of the budget that the state actually does reimburse the 55%.
2 years,
Yeah, you wait 2 years for it, that's the only thing to actually reimburse. What did she say it was, state reimbursed was 6.7% or something like that for
Yeah.
everything else?
Yep.
So,
so we've got to talk to our state legislatures and get that changed
Again.
again and again and again. Any other thoughts or ideas, what we might do? As I said, they didn't see any cuts they could really make easily, and I don't at this point.
No.
no. And even the patching of the parking lot, unless it's absolutely necessary, it's probably better to just do it all at once.
Well, that's, I'll ask them what they think, but it's,
Only because you're just gonna tear it back up.
I don't know how much patching is up there, I didn't even look at that close.
I think it's probably not got the best base underneath of it, that's why it keeps doing this.
Well, right now, it's just peeling out.
Yeah,
You've probably seen more than the rest of us,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think there's 4 or 5 spots.
so
That's bad.
yeah.
potholes or areas.
Well, one spot probably that big.
Yeah, so you gotta fill those definitely, but just,
Cut them out and refill them.
Yeah,
you only wanna patch so much before you just rip it all up and repave it.
I think she's hoping for one more year
Yeah.
on the parking lot and then paving it. Anything else on this? And now I'd ask for motion, yea and nay for the school budget, recommendation.
Would we accept the school budget as offered?
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. You thought John would be here and Nick about 7?
Yeah, he said they couldn't make it until 7. We can go over the changes on the general services budget, if you'd like.
And will be the next step, yes.
Guess who put in for mileage today?
Oh, tell me, who was it?
Animal control.
Animal control.
How many miles did
It's only $238.
I actually made a change and removed the mileage reimbursement and increased his stipend to see if that might work better.
But he did stop in, huh?
He did. He was quite proud of himself.
Oh, good.
I happen to be looking at the second draft without the carry forwards, but I don't think it matters whether you're looking at the draft with or without the carry forwards.
All right, so which, you want to start with the without or with the shore?
It doesn't matter. I'm going from the without.
All right. What do you have for changes, Christine?
Okay, there are no changes to general government payroll with the exception of the animal control stipend. I increased that to 3109.
Where is it?
It's on page 2, about halfway down,
Okay.
animal control.
Yeah.
3.2% COLA, eliminating the mileage reimbursement and increasing the stipend to an approximate 1,000 miles. And that brings it to approximately 3109.
How many miles did he turn in?
It's $238.
And we were allowing a
65
crazy
cents, I
number
think.
of 1,300 before for mileage,
I think it was 15 or something.
and you usually doesn't cut it back to 500, right?
Let's see, how much is the increase, how much is for mileage again?
$238.
Oh, no, I mean the increase that
Oh.
you're giving him, Christine.
So I don't have a calculator, but it's,
28%.
700.
yep, the new number is 3109.
And the old number is 2439, so
Right.
680, whatever,
Was
700.
And it's 67 cents a mile, right, Julie?
67 or 65?
65.
Oh, I thought it was 67.
So that's 1,077 miles a year.
Okay.
Does that seem about right, Julie, for what he's bringing in?
Yeah, it was just a quarter that he gave me since January.
Okay.
I think that would work much better for his book work.
in yours, the towns.
Any more questions on animal control? Okay, I'm on page 5 now. The first change is with advertising. I had 4,000 on advertising, I reduced it to 1,000. And that would just be for bid notices and miscellaneous notices. And then I moved another part of the advertising budget to the voting line, which is on a different page.
To the what line?
Voting.
Voting, okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear you very well.
Did you just say 4,000 to 1,000?
Yeah.
I think this is
3,000.
3,000. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right.
Oh, no, it used to be 4,000, last time it was 4,000.
The 25,
The last budget was
yeah.
4,000 over here. You're looking at last year's, which was 30,000, I think.
No, I'm talking about the first draft, Jeff.
Oh.
Compared to the
Gotcha.
first draft.
All
Yeah,
right,
you
thank
want
you.
that. I
Sorry.
think Here.
I got you.
We had something on, sorry if we're done with that. I think we skipped over something on page 4 that I had a note on.
Are we finished with the advertising? All right, page 4.
Yeah, it was the $23,000 for the property and casualty insurance. I just put a note on here that Julie was gonna confirm that. The news in January, it was on the building.
It's on building, equipment, everything.
So it is
It's
23.
property and casualty for all of our assets.
Right, I guess, I think I put it on there because I think you guys were gonna check on what it was.
Yeah, I can confirm. Sorry, I didn't mark that.
That's okay. I'm just comparing the last one to the new one. Is all.
Okay,
Town report, I reduced by $600 to 2,000.
Where are you at?
next line down.
Oh, sorry, yep.
So we probably don't need to get as many copies as we normally do, especially since the town report has been issued later than it usually is because of the audit.
Can I ask a question about the copier? Is that copier leased, so they charge you by the copy, or is it,
They charge us for the colored copies, and yes, it is leased.
okay. So I know the comp plan that just came out had some colored pages in it. Was the entire thing printed using color? Because if you hit color and you're printing black and white pages, it counts them as color. Because you said that your color bill went right through the roof, making the comp plan.
It's possible that it was sometimes copied that way because of the time it takes to make so many copies and collate. So, yeah, it might have been done that way for convenience.
So they don't charge you for black and white, but they charge you for color?
That's correct, right, Julie?
They give you so many black and white, and then they charge you for what you've gone over.
Right, so maybe watch that. Because I got mine back and it looked like it had all been done in color, all the black and white pages, so. I just thought maybe that might have been an extra cost.
Can you get away with doing that online?
No,
Just a few
No.
printed
you
copies?
need copies.
Yeah, that doesn't work for people.
But
It
if
just
someone wants a copy later on,
it just takes,
that'd probably be a charge for it. If next year they want a copy, would you charge them for it? A citizen wanted a copy of the comp plan.
Right. Yes, we do have a fee for copies.
And we, right now, to be clarified, we're printing a limited number of copies of the full comp plan right now.
Yeah.
Right, well, we're probably done with the comp plan, but we're going into the land use, so it's possible that there would be colored copies.
Yeah,
right, but you
for
can
the
print,
land use.
but I'm just saying,
yeah,
we're not printing a bunch of comp plan, 25 or 50, 100 copies of the comp plan. It's a limited number of copies being made of the proposed comp plan.
right, I guess I'm just saying, you can print page 1 through 10 color, and then 10 through 150 is black and white, and then after that, color again, without putting all of them color, which costs us money.
Okay.
Okay, contracts. The only contract this year is for Bangor payroll service. I had additional money on that line. I had 10.5 because that's where we put the funds for the document preservation, which the town clerk is not doing this coming year. So that line was reduced to 3,500.
Just as a matter of letting people know about it, the West Bath Historical Society is matching that dollar for dollar
Right.
out of our meager assets.
Thank you.
On office supplies, I reduced it from 6,000 to 5,000. Still think that gives us enough of a cushion. Down under utilities, electrical, I reduced from 4,000 to 3,500. And the telephone from 3,500 to 3,000. On page 6, office furniture, I reduced from 5,000 to 1,000.
And what did you change there?
What are you not gonna get?
For the furniture, the $1,000 would just be in the event that we need furniture when we reconfigure the space where the copy machine is.
What did you cut out from the proposed
Yeah.
5,000?
Well, that was just a figure that I plugged in, we don't need the 5,000. And I think 1,000 is more reasonable.
Okay,
On computers, I reduced the contract line from 50,000 to 49,000, just to make a total of 50,000 if you take the contracts and the hardware and software together.
So who's that contract, who are those contracts with again?
Most of it is for, it's not technically all contracts, but under contracts is our IT services, which we have to purchase, our software licensing.
So that's like the trio.
Yeah, that's the bulk of it. On page 7, under voting, I increased wages just by $200, just in light of the fact that we're having a presidential election. I think that's probably more reasonable. Advertising, $800. And food I increased to 300 from 100 because we've been buying more food for the elections than we have in the past. And on page 8, building maintenance, I decreased that line from 20,000 to 15,000.
What's in the 15, Christine?
That's just in the event that we exceed our ARPA funds when we're doing repairs and maintenance to the buildings. So it's really ARPA and building maintenance together. And we would deplete the ARPA funds before we used any building maintenance funds.
So is this,
So
what kind of building?
what we have under the ARPA building maintenance projects is the fire department roof.
You just started around 40,000, right? An opera?
Yeah, 40,000 and change. 45, 28, 89 balance.
45,000?
No, 40,000,
500.
528, 89. So it's the fire department roof, which is $6,461. Kathy and Madeline asked me to look into blinds for the meeting room at the fire department. That is $4,583. Then the generator for the town hall. Vinyl flooring upstairs and downstairs here at the town hall.
How much is the generator, do you know yet?
No, we would have to go out to bid. There's an approximate number of $10,000. I don't know whether that's reasonable or not.
No,
It depends on the bid specifications that we're given.
the mini splits use a lot of power. You're gonna need a very huge generator.
Let's
Turn them off.
You can turn them off
The
and
first
use
fix
the oil.
The first fix
Yeah, but then someone has to come in and know when to do it.
Well, we can wait
Power's
till,
out.
we can wait till the bid specs out.
Generator comes on.
Fire department can come in and check them.
So vinyl flooring upstairs and downstairs at town hall.
Wasn't that in the last one?
No.
Vinyl flooring here,
Yes, downstairs and upstairs.
and the problem with this floor?
If you look at the flooring, particularly in the bathrooms and upstairs, it's really in need of
Oh,
replacement.
I would agree with that, but I don't.
Well, I think if we're gonna do it, if we're gonna undertake the project and we have ARPA money that doesn't cost the taxpayers anything, makes sense to do it all at once.
Unless an opera money can be spent on something else.
Well,
Right, but you've got the ARPA money plus another $15,000.
well, that's a number that I plugged in case we wanna continue with projects.
I thought it was
I have-
storing them
I
last
have
year.
other projects on the list that, could be done if we have money in the pot.
Carpets upstairs was done this year.
Was that what it was, the carpet, not?
Yes, it was the.
And there's not
the
much,
vinyl?
not much vinyl upstairs.
Yeah, it's just in the hallway, right? In the kitchen?
It would be the hallway, the entryway, the bathroom, and the kitchen.
So did you have an estimate for that?
We don't have an estimate, we have bid specifications. I don't like to have numbers because it becomes public record as soon as we receive the numbers, and that's not fair to bidders.
So do you have sorry, is there more?
We're going to finish the copy area remodel, which means taking out the closet, painting, carpeting in that area, and possibly some shelving and cabinetry. the ADA upgrades here and at the fire department. And then if we do have any money left over, which we may, I want to start on the outside. There's some rot and corrosion on the back side of this building that should be addressed at some point. And some exposed wiring.
I would hope that we would, budget-wise, concentrate the outside of the building first. If we have rot, take care of that first, and worry about carpentry, cabinets or whatever later on.
We're halfway into the project upstairs. It's really, I feel it's important that we finish it.
Well,
I-
yeah, I agree with you. My next question was gonna be what's your priority list for these things? Because you're talking about using the ARPA money and then if you run out, using the other money, so do you have a prioritized list of what you're gonna hit first?
The prioritized list, I didn't put it in numerical order because I think we can undertake all of these projects with the ARPA money and possibly a little bit in building maintenance money.
Well, no, because you just said there are other things that we can get to if we have
Yeah,
enough
on
money,
the
so
outside,
you've
I
got
want to
more than
finish
money.
the inside, and then start looking at the outside of the building and seeing what needs to be done out there.
I agree
It's
with David,
important, it's important to protect our assets.
which means the rod on the outside should be done first. Before the blinds.
Well, I don't think the rod on the outside is going to cost very much. It's only around the doorway in the back.
So you don't have a prioritized list?
Can I ask what the ADA repairs are, or upgrades are?
The ADA is to make it easier to get in the doors, push.
But what's it consist of, like door panels or ramps or?
We don't know exactly, but I was going to contact Alpha One. They can come down and do a review to see what makes sense for this building and the fire department.
The walk is ADA, it just needs a push button for the door. This one here. Same one upstairs, it was built ADA.
So they're not requirements, they're just upgrades, right? Is that?
Well, the step is difficult for people who have mobility issues.
Which step?
This year,
Right, I hope I'm not misspeaking, I don't mind upgrades, I just wanna make sure we're all on the same page. Those are not, I don't believe those are required upgrades, those are, we would like to do it upgrades, right?
the fire hall is a significant step up.
The other door has been built ADA to get into the building.
Right.
Not every door has to be ADA to get into a building for it to comply with ADA, just one.
But we use the exit door all the time for voting and so.
Oh, no, I don't disagree,
Right,
I
right.
just wanna make sure I'm on the same page.
Some of us are capable of doing
Those are all the changes I had, David.
When do we vote on this one? Or when do we talk about this one?
You can talk now, we meet again Thursday, if you want to discuss it then, you certainly can.
I wanna talk about two things.
All right.
I wanna talk about one, when Justin's back, because he had some questions on the mapping, the other night, and I don't think I'm intelligent enough to speak on it.
Yeah, he notified me, he couldn't make this meeting, but he plans on being here Thursday.
Okay,
Well, I can tell you the mapping is going to be done this year because the reval is complete. We just couldn't get it in during this current fiscal year. It's not going to happen this current fiscal year. It will happen in the next fiscal year.
okay, and the last thing I have is, I think we just, well, I think my recommendation, we just cut that 15,000, and use the ARPA money till it runs out, and then start again next year. It seems like a quick, easy solution.
Okay, so we're avoiding Thursday night on the overall budget. Any other comments tonight on the town office budget? we can review it and, discuss it again on Thursday night too, so, yes.
I just want to say, the only reason I recommended Lions for the fire station is that place is rented out a lot, and in the winter it's so cold in there, I thought maybe we could save some heat if we had blinds.
So thermal blinds, then you mean? Yeah, and I don't disagree, I just think that there should be
No,
a prioritized list and a plan if there's finite money and,
I do too, I didn't want you to think I was thinking something frivolous.
well, actually, Christine was talking about putting blinds here too, so I don't know. Last time we met.
No, that's not my plan.
Did I remember wrong?
Upstairs.
Upstairs,
The blinds
okay,
are
sorry.
downstairs.
I think you pointed at window blinds and I thought you meant down here.
Upstairs.
Okay. Apologies.
So we can certainly look over this whole budget again and go over it some more on Thursday night.
So your budget initially showed a reduction of 7%, now it's 17%. According to this.
But it's still not accurate because of that 28,000, which was a one-time fee.
It's accurate, it's just,
You just have to put that in there and make the math work, but you have to know, you can note that it's, that that's what it is.
Right.
For the alarm system.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not, yeah.
Any other thoughts or comments on the townhouse budget tonight? All right. Did you want to go over the, without carry forwards or anything? Any more in the budget? Any idea what we have any kind of carry forward of the town office budget to at this point?
Town office doesn't have carry
we do
forward.
have
I mean,
carry forwards and they're
surplus or-
being applied when she was talking about coming up with the mill levy, they were applied.
We're applied to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
So based on the numbers and the accounts that we looked at tonight, how many of them had carry forwards?
General assistance, ambulance, fire department operations,
nothing you look at.
shellfish warden, and public works.
You changed the, I didn't go there. You changed the shellfish warden funding
Right,
to come from that account or 60,000 in that account?
right.
That would be the carry forwards that we applied to reduce the tax rate.
So the 60,000 is gone into this year's budget?
I
You need
don't
to
know what
rewrite
figure it
that article.
is. Yeah, it will take a warrant article, but yes.
Right, so essentially you're wiping out the 60,000 and putting it into undesignated funds or surplus. So the article for the funding of the wardens is correct at this point.
It will be correct.
It's not zeroed out, it's original amount.
It's gonna raise and appropriate.
Right,
That's it.
that's it. And we're gonna incorporate that 60,000 into the budget as a carry forward.
Yes. No. Gonna raise and appropriate. That's it. The money will go into, excuse me, surplus.
The 60,000.
Yeah.
It will lapse into surplus, we don't even have to think about it. It will just automatically be applied to surplus.
And so directly from there, you use to offset the tax rate?
Yes.
But it only goes into surplus if the warrant is written differently, correct?
Correct.
So, okay. How about the boat? Any progress on the boat? As far as the sheriff thought they might, the department thought they might want it?
The chief has been in contact with the sheriff's department about possibly trade with another one of the vehicles that he has to be similar to like fly car fleet, excuse me, EMS, that would take wear and tear off of our trucks on the floor. Chief, can
What?
speak to that more.
John,
Yes.
before we get to your budget, we're still in the town office budget. And one of the articles is the possibility of swapping the boat we own for a vehicle from the sheriff's department? Could you do that now as opposed to your budget? What you know about that?
It's been, the sheriff would, first of all, have to, it would have to be brought to him, and he would have to make a decision.
So this is very preliminary then?
I met with the two deputies that took over the shellfish warden in town, and they both expressed a lot of interest in being able to use that boat. And then the conversation kind of rolled into, maybe the sheriff's department acquiring the boat. And then we mentioned about maybe getting another car from them for an EMS fly car. It's either that or you can put the boat out to bid and take the money for it.
Yeah.
But yes, preliminary.
Okay. Have you gone so far as to even get the boat appraised to what it's worth yet? No, it's still
No,
very
it's
preliminary.
really a policy decision, so the select board would need to talk about it before we do anything.
Well, I know, I'm just curious as to what the value of the boat, motor and trailer is at this point.
Yeah, we can find that out. I can have somebody come and look at it.
Just for an idea, yeah?
Yeah, regardless, in my opinion, the boat should go. The fire department does not use it.
It's just sitting there.
Right, the shellfish warden that used to use it has passed away, so.
Good point. Okay, any more questions on the town office? All right, we'll move on to the fire department.
You gonna come join us?
Huh?
You gonna come join us?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, we can go over it line by line. I don't know if you guys have reviewed it. If you have questions, it's pretty simple. There are adjustments to things, like there is every year. So I'll leave it up to you.
Well, I didn't review the budget, I didn't find any, or see any big changes at all. It's pretty much
Right.
the same budget. Maybe just highlight, to start, highlight what you consider important or changes in the budget, John. Are you assuming? There's no real major changes, so.
Well, we can talk, I mean, it was mentioned in the previous budget, but just talking about the roof, one of the big windstorms, we had some shingles come off the back side. So we had Todd Stead go up on the roof and replace some shingles that blew off. And just kind of give the roof an assessment, and he said that the shingles on the back side are pretty brittle and probably should be replaced. And he said that the front, they're just like new. And I'm usually,
The back, it's the sun.
It's that self-exposure.
I'm usually the kind of guy that I don't do things,
Halfway.
I do it all, but I take Todd's word for it, it's all he does, all day, every day, is roofs. So, talk about replacing the back side of that roof, which was, he gave me a price of $5,000. I'd like to see Todd be able to do it, that's another story.
Yep.
Another conversation, I'm sure anywhere else would cost quite a bit more, but. And then the back door at the hall,
You mean
the back.
not the side door, but the
Right,
back
the
door?
back door,
The
the
south.
belt back that has the crash bar on it. That is an actual ramp exit. And, when people do come in to vote, they use the front door is handicapped, but when they exit, that's not really a handicapped door. And I believe it's policy that when you enter the voting area, there's an entrance and an exit. So that back entrance that door was only really ever used to like bring garbage out and stuff like that. And it's in pretty bad shape, I don't know, it doesn't work well. So I would like to have that door, I had PDQ look at it and tell me what they thought. I'd like to have that door replaced with pretty much the same door, maybe have a window in it. But at that point, that will become the exit for voting. And then anybody who's in a wheelchair can wheel right down the ramp.
How is the lighting out there?
There's two outdoor lights on each side of the door, the same as there is at the other exit on the side.
Do you think we need to put corner lights?
We could
I mean, just
put a
because,
light on the corner.
yeah,
Would make sense.
on both sides,
Yeah, yeah. that would
south
make sense.
and west.
So, is this part of the 12,700? Is this, were you talking about part of that 12,700 under building repair and maintenance? Or is this something different?
Yeah, it's the bottom line, so, replace rear half,
Bottom line.
roof, and then the rear entrance door.
Oh, we're looking at something different, I think, than what you're looking at.
Well, I was just looking at,
Looking at this.
I was looking at the breakdown.
Yeah,
So,
Well, I thought everybody had a copy
well,
of this.
maybe we do.
Well, I do,
Hold on.
I was just
Yeah.
cheating.
We have a
you know.
whole pile of papers here, John, sorry. Hold
So,
on.
my question though is this the same project we were just talking about?
the ARPA funds,
The ARPA funds and the ADA improvements?
Right, so Christine mentioned the roof, I don't believe she mentioned the door. So, the roof's like 5,000 and the door's like 3,000, so.
Yeah, it did actually mention the ADA access at the fire station also.
The number that I put out there for the roof project was 6,461. That just happened to be the figure that the fire department had left over from unspent ARPA funds from this current year.
That
So
was,
that's how that figure came up.
so,
We came up with that figure.
that's another note that I was gonna add, is that we have 64, 61 of ARPA funds that we can put toward both of those projects.
so that would you feel confident enough fund the door?
It wouldn't fund all of it, but, we have a substantial, well, a decent chunk of change in the building account. And, we can make up a difference with that. And also, there's a couple other projects that we would like to do in the building, upgrading door hardware, to match the new stuff that had to go in the bathroom.
What about your parking lot?
Where about it?
When it's coming apart?
Where? You mean the
Well,
road that the trucks
it's the
destroyed?
road.
Yes.
The road,
Yes.
not parking. Yeah.
Well, to actually, the whole thing's the drive car.
Right,
No, I
The
understand.
road is supposed to be on the other side of the telephone pole,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and it's not.
Sounds like a road commissioner thing.
We wouldn't have the problem if we actually just had, a median or a guardrail that lined the property line of the fire station. But until that happens, that's gonna get destroyed year after year after year.
Totally, but
So you're looking at the,
just asking.
Well, it was talked about last year, Steve Reno brought it up, and I'm not sure where you guys went with it.
never heard of it.
Either way, it should fall
Now,
under.
he mentioned it to
We
me
don't-
straight up last year. too.
Yeah, we don't have any jurisdiction over the list of things that he does during the year.
Okay, so right now you're looking at potentially, you need the roof done anyhow, right?
Yeah,
That's gonna be, and the door you wanna do,
yeah.
and some of this, say $6,500 or $6,400 is coming out of the ARPA funds. Would you think it would take care of the door pretty much and the roof?
In what, 16?
It's not gonna take care of all of it.
It won't.
No, but like I said, we can make up the difference with the savings that we have. In the account.
Yeah, so what's,
20,000.
You know what, $1,600 should I?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that, so.
So I guess you're referring to the rental hall
Yes.
account?
Yeah.
And you plan to use that on building repairs and miscellaneous?
Yeah, we can certainly use that to help fund and finish that door project, and like I said, there's a few other things that we would like to do in there to upgrade that building. And one of the things that's gonna have to be talked about with that building is the windows. The windows in it are pretty bad.
The original windows?
Yeah.
Bad
They,
now.
they were not, they were not the higher end of windows to begin with.
Oh, so the
And
insulation rating and then.
Yeah,
There's no rating.
the way that they work, they've kind of like popped out of their tracks, and I don't really see a way to fix it and fix it properly without replacing them. So that's something that's gonna have to be talked about, but it's not the end of the world, but
When was the building built?
2000.
I think it's shifting at all, which is messing up the windows.
No, I just think.
It sounds like the frames are,
No, it's just the windows. They're just, the quality of them is not that good, and they're 24 years old now.
Yeah, one of the bad windstorms, I think it was two bad storms ago. It blew one of the bottom sashes completely out of the frame and into the middle of the building.
we had some heavy wind, yeah.
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 It hits the front of that building pretty hard because the windows are pretty tall.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
so,
So, if you have $20,000 in that account, you can't possibly afford the windows, that's for sure.
no, probably not, but
How much concern is the windows, is something we should do next year or two, or?
yeah, it's not something it's not emergent. We could do it next year. Do this stuff. The roof's more important to me.
Yeah, for sure, I'm just thinking extra things.
Right.
If we were to use that building account money, that wouldn't need to come to this one.
What's that on it?
If we were to use just the money out of that account for the building account, for any of the stuff that we're talking.
No, it's not the town.
Yeah,
It's your money.
if we wanted to add that on to the ARPA fund or use that to replace just one side of the windows, that wouldn't have to be budgeted, that wouldn't even have to be discussed there, right?
So that account, like,
Right.
that account is, in your mind, is used mostly for odds and ends of the building, and whether it's equipment needed or fire department related.
Yeah, and really, like I told you the other day when we were talking, over COVID, the place was closed, the account was drained pretty low, from things that, had been used for to go back into the building. Now, it's been built up some, and, as far as I'm concerned, it can be used to go back into the building. And, help keep it there.
Hey, Dave,
You know,
can you explain to me how this works?
Very good.
So, he's gonna replace his door.
Yeah.
With his money.
Well,
With ARPA money,
as much as,
as much as he can.
he is at $6,400.
Great, but then the ADA improvements to that same door are gonna come out of the towns?
In my mind, it
It's
should,
just something we haven't talked about.
it should.
So, I feel that maybe, this is not an ADA improvement. It's already existing. It's just a door that's bad that needs to be replaced.
But they wanna put a ramp on
No,
It's
there is
already
already.
right there.
right, but I think,
I think,
it. Is that the door you were talking about?
yeah, there's
No,
those conversations.
I wasn't
Christine-
aware that the.
No,
Christine
this
was
is a
talking
different
about-
door.
Let me try to explain.
Alright, it's two
There
different
are two
doors.
doors.
Yeah,
There are two doors there. The west door, which is commonly used now, is the high step,
mhm.
and the door opens high.
Yep.
There's no push button on it.
Okay.
So I think what John is proposing is that the exit door become the south door, which is never used, apparently never used. But the door itself is bad, and the door needs to be replaced. And to make it ADA the best, we would need to put a button on it too, a push button. And in that kind of money, I think should come from the ADA, the ARPA funds. I think we should discuss with Christine and get that in ARPA fund budget and make that right that way. So it can be used for all things.
Right, so that's actually a better, easier, less expensive option than what they were talking about, adding a ramp to that side door that steps down, which then you kind of mess up the plowing and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So I think your idea is better
Yeah.
and less expensive. The thing that I'm confused about with this stuff is it sounds like the money is being kind of counted twice.
Right.
Because John's talking about the ARPA money would cover the roof and most of like the door and out back,
So,
almost.
So
But
pretty much,
then-
it's in the budget
Right, but it's,
to be represented. Where the money comes from is what we're talking about.
right,
Right now, it's like, we need to budget for this,
yep.
and then, other than that, everybody else in this room can argue about which pocket it comes from.
Oh,
I'm
right,
not
but you
trying
gotta,
to
but you gotta
argue,
understand,
I'm
it's
trying
in
to
the budget twice.
understand
Yeah.
where it is.
So
just-
that's the problem, it's in the budget twice, it's in the town's budget and it's in the fire department budget, and if you only,
And it's in our
if it's
budget.
only gonna cost $6,000, we shouldn't budget 12 or 18.
I'm following, I'll remove
So,
it.
so the
Well,
12
you're
is.
talking about fire department stuff without the fire department here, so I'm telling you what the fire department has.
No,
You guys never there listen to So,
We were, okay.
We didn't bring it up, we were waiting.
the fire department has $6,461 of ARPA funds left. And we
Understood.
would like to use them for this project.
I think you should.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah,
then
what
there's
would-
also 12,700, including that project too.
Well, I think what we need
In
to
the
do is,
budget, right?
before Thursday,
I'm confused.
let's get a breakdown of where the ARPA funds are proposed to go from the town office, the full amount, at least ballpark, what it's gonna cost for all these projects, disregarding the fire department's roof, because that money's already there. So that's $6,000.
Well, if it's ARPA funds, it needs to be on the list.
I know, but I'm saying for the list, but we know it's already spent. In essence, it's already spent on the fire department's roof. And also, I like John's idea of using that back door as the exit door, making it fully ADA, let's include some kind of ARPA funding for a push button to make it handicap accessible. I think it's the best way to solve it is to use that door for the exit door from the meeting hall.
How would you propose I come up with estimates by Thursday for these projects that I have not put out specifications for? I don't know how to do that. I'm looking for ideas.
If you talk to like our local door company, could they give you a ballpark number as to what it would cost to put a push button door in there?
I think John and Nick probably have those figures for the fire.
I don't think they have a push button.
Well,
Yeah, not that.
I don't have,
No.
I haven't.
But I'm talking about
For the door.
the other projects, like the generator, I don't know how I would come up with a figure by Thursday.
Call Brackley Electric down the street and ask them what they would usually do. Ballpark for budgeting.
Yeah, so how that's represented here is we need it, how it, I mean, if you guys, in a separate meeting,
The funding
figure
is
out that other funding, then this can be scratched and it will be taken care of. But right now, it's just noted on there that the roof needs to be done in the door.
Oh yeah, and I don't think anyone's arguing that, we
Yeah.
just, it looks like we're seeing it in two places.
And
You are, and I'll
It's
remove it
elevated,
from,
budgeted,
I'll
so
remove it
just
from the
check
other
it,
budget,
Yep.
from the trio budget.
You know,
it's just, it's
I will
here for us
remove
for
it from that
accountability.
budget.
It'll be in one budget.
Yes.
As far as the fire department is concerned, it's something they need and where it comes from, a combination of where it comes from does not matter.
And John, you would be able to call where you got the estimate for the door to find out what it would be to have the push button?
That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Very easy. Yeah.
All right, if you can do that, let me know, John, let Christine know. And we'll have it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Vehicles and those type of things, how are they holding up? Anything you see there? Of major concern or just normal stuff?
Well, this past year, we had a we had kind of a heavy hit with our tanker. The pump primer let go on it. And that was a fairly large expense that is one of those things that won't have to, for the remainder of the time the truck sits in the station, we'll have to replace that again. It got upgraded to a hand primer. So that was kind of unexpected. As you can see in the numbers, that account's still a pretty big hit
Yeah.
this year. I did adjust, I adjusted a little to try to make up for some of it, but I also don't foresee any major issues with that truck.
And the other trucks right now are in fairly good shape for what they are? how is the Saturday, Sunday help on duty working out?
Very well,
It's good.
very well.
Do you feel you're getting more done to the vehicles in the building on those days? And
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that is one thing, you see the last page on there.
Which should be under vehicle equipment.
Vehicles.
maintenance.
Said you guys don't have, he's gonna pass that.
Oh, perfect.
So right now, I was saying one guy Saturday, one guy Sunday, with a cost of $20.36. We would like to add more manning, to be honest with you, for a bunch of different reasons. Mainly, Jeff can speak to this as well. It is nice having one person, but if we are to operate, and whether that's an EMS call, or especially anything that pertains to fire, one person is great for getting the truck there, but then it's time to work. So there's a few options. Obviously, option one is what we have right now. Option two would be adding one additional person for 365 days a year. So that would put a second person on with the chief Monday through Friday, and a second person Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 4. So that would be 2 people available in town, 365 days a year, 8 to 4. With a price of $77,000. Option 3 would just be adding an additional person on Saturday, Sunday, $36,315. And then option 4 would just be adding that second person Monday through Friday for $60,890. Obviously, we'd like to do it. Obviously, option 1 is working, right? But to grow, staffing in this area, I can't speak to exact staffing, but at one time, I believe Brunswick was down a solid dozen, and at the same time, City of Bath down a solid half dozen guys, 18 guys in this area, mandatory shifts. There was a call a little while back that we requested mutual aid from the City of Bath, and they were unable to provide it for us. We work hand in hand with everybody around, but everybody's taxed, and putting manning in our station is just going to further, add a layer of safety for this town. Obviously, there's a price tag associated with it, but
So it's actually going from volunteer to a manned fire station.
it would be pretty. So even though there would be somebody here 7 days a week, an additional person 7 days a week, it would be a different person. You wouldn't have to provide any insurance, nothing.
Just hourly wage.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
exactly.
be a full-time one.
So did you say it was 8 to 5?
8 to 4.
And we put these options together to just put in front of you guys to discuss it. That's why it's done up that way, and that's why we're here, so.
Pretty much, we're happy with what it is, but it would be better to have an additional person in there. So, like I said, that's up there, whether it's an option for you guys or an option for the town meeting, which direction I'd like to go.
I know you can't predict, but how often has it been staffing been a problem?
0.
As far as our per diems go,
No, as far as being unable to,
We've not had one issue staffing any of the shifts that we've had. And if we were to add something during the week, with the crew that we have that are employed, whether it's full-time positions in other departments, that, this is their home department, or other guys that are available like they are out Saturday, Sunday because of their work situation. They're, retired, work nights, stuff like that. Staffing would not be an issue.
How you gonna handle this?
Well, this is kind of first view, so I'm
Yeah,
not
I know,
sure.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I wanna dwell on it a little bit.
Have you had any occurrences where you've had a call and haven't been able to respond correctly to the best you could have because you were short-staffed in that department? As far as executing whatever you had to do for a call?
During the week, just about every time we get called,
Yeah.
it's hit or miss. Depends.
So if you wanted to get down, and I don't have anything in front of me, but the NFPA has staffing standards,
Guidelines.
obviously. They're mostly,
For full
based
time?
for full-time. When somebody's house is on fire, it doesn't matter, what you get for a paycheck when you're in the truck, those same people are still needed, right? So, that could be a whole nother can of worms, right? If you wanted to start digging into that with appropriate responses, things like that.
Well, I'm saying, have you ever found yourself going to a car fight or whatever, and you haven't been able to respond?
There's been times where we've had to call mutually, absolutely. There's also times that there's been one person in a truck respond out of the station, for something where you've got to pull a hose line.
That's the part that scares me more than anything else. I brought it up last year, and I'd say it again this year too. I mean, one person is great, but anytime somebody leaves on an emergency response by themselves, it's a risk. I mean, it's always a risk, but it's today's society, people shouldn't be responding to calls alone.
What I was getting at when I thought I answered the question that you were asking is that, during the week, like, let's say we get called out 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for a fire. Nick's available a lot of the time, but some of the time he's not. Our core group of guys that aren't firemen somewhere else all work out of town, and they can't ever, not once ever, respond during the day. So you pretty much can forget about those guys until 5 o'clock at night. So then it kind of goes to Nick and what full-time guys we have that are on an off day.
From wherever?
Right, we have them from Portland, Bath, Nashua, New Hampshire. I mean, we've got full-time guys under the roof of our firehouse, which is great. But they, a lot of times, pick up work when they're not on shift as well. So just because they're off from their full-time job doesn't mean.
They aren't waiting around for you to call?
Right. If they're available, they're here, and, we may head out the door some weekdays with 3 trucks on the road with no issues, and then the same call could happen the next day, and it's just me.
So if you had the per diem for the one additional shift, 365 days a year, would you be outsourcing outside of the people that you already have, or would that entice the ones that you already have to put in their time? Where are you gonna look for that person?
It would probably mostly entice the ones that we have.
I've already had the conversation with them. There's a lot of guys going to Topsom, there's a lot of guys going to Scarborough. There's per diem all over the place, and guys would much rather just stay home, right?
So as far as your core responders, whether it's medical or fire related, do not work in the area? Or where they cannot be?
The ones that don't work in other fire stations, yes, I guess is what I'm getting to. They have, Steve, for example, one of our best guys, he works in Lewiston, and he's there from daylight in the morning until dark at night. He's great anytime after that, but you'll never see him during the day. It's just not ever gonna happen. And he's one of a good handful.
You got another guy that's a superintendent for Shaw Brothers, you got another guy that's self-employed as an electrician, you know what I mean? So they're not right here in town.
But if it's 4 o'clock in the morning before they have to leave, they'll be there, or if it's 6 o'clock in the evening. were out last night at midnight.
So
We
you,
were there.
but you feel that, as Darlene brought it, you can staff these positions, either options?
Absolutely.
That wouldn't be an issue. That's not the issue.
Well,
It's
it's,
the funding.
Right, so what was the rate per hour, per man hour?
That is, it's 1870. Julie, could you refresh my memory on that? It's 18.
Oh, yeah, it's not,
Right.
yeah, it's right around 1873
Yeah, I can.
or something.
Keep and change.
Yeah, $19
Yeah, it's under $19 an hour.
Is that, is there any requirement for EMS in those positions?
There hasn't been yet. Obviously, all of those guys, as you know, that are working in other departments are licensed to a certain level. Most of them advanced at least, or are in the process of getting it.
You think it would hurt you to put that on there?
The highest, currently, Jeff, it's, the highest qualified gets first dib.
Oh, okay.
And then down the list,
Okay.
But we absolutely could make that a requirement.
Well, I'm just wondering if it would paint you in a corner.
I don't think so. I think just the fact of not having a transporting ambulance would be worth it for a lot of them, right? They'll first respond and hand that off the bat, like they're doing now. But we have,
what is our level of medical now?
Advanced. It's been that way for quite a few years now.
Or you changed it a few years back, right?
It's
We dropped the.
Yeah, we dropped from paramedic to advanced.
Any other questions before we think about this?
Yeah.
Let me just say this, I think, obviously in lives, it's smart for a community, especially right now, to think about growth, right? And with the fire service and in particular, the way that it's going, if this doesn't happen this year, you should absolutely keep it on the radar, because you're having a very hard time keeping staff.
And Brunswick,
It's statewide, it's nationwide, and it's a huge problem, and you'd be crazy not to think about how it's gonna impact this community. Your numbers are not wrong, and there's gonna be more, I say increased times, where you call for help, it's just not there.
so we had a couple of big fun stones.
big fun storms, yeah. That's a colorful way of painting it.
40 years of no power is colorful. What kind of calls did you guys respond to, say 2 weeks ago or 10 days, what it was in this past week? Have you told your calls for those 2 storms, ballpark?
Well, we were in the 40ish there on the first round.
Yep, I can look at this last one, but yeah, in the.
And they vary from fire alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, a lot of that would generate.
Right.
And then hazard calls, as far as trees and lines and, we do what we can if something comes down and doesn't involve lines. And, with the help sometimes of the road commission, we can keep things open up so people can get around.
John comes in, mate.
Yeah, right, so, that bigger one a few weeks ago, we had, I think, 3 crews out pretty much for days in a row, just running the roads and.
And a lot of that was on the weekends, so your staffing was not as much of a problem?
Yeah, we had plenty of guys, and they stayed at the firehouse. We had firehouse with staff out for days.
Close to 5 days. Guys staying right there.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
This past one, we had 6 guys in the station for 3 days.
We got guys that just love to be there. riding fire trucks. So, like I said, we're a fortunate group, for sure.
Any other thoughts tonight?
I don't think it's a terrible idea, I just don't.
It's a tough year.
It's a lot of money.
One
It's
concern,
gonna be a,
the concern is,
right,
the school is up 13%, the
well,
county's up 13%.
and the taxes last year were a hit for a lot of people. So,
So if we had to have any more questions, Thursday night, we could reach one of you.
oh, I had one little thing, the electric bill? I don't understand how the electric bills are going down, the rates went down 35%. Help me, why is the electric bill going up?
I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know
Maybe
what's
call
happening.
C&P.
Old heaters running,
Well, it could
What
be.
kind of heaters do you have over there?
the ones that won't get replaced.
Yeah. No change though, nothing has changed there to make that bill go the way it went. I don't,
Yeah, because I mean, January 1st, it went down 35%.
and
And here at the town hall, it went up too, but I think that's the mini splits, but.
Fitchburg, I talked to their chief and said, what's your power bill? The buildings aren't comparable.
Odd.
The energy being used in theirs, where they have staff every day during the day, is kind of comparable to our hall being used. I mean, they're not apples to apples, but it's fairly close, and their bill's like half of what ours is. And so that's on my radar, Darlene.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't a dig, it was just,
No,
it just surprises me, because I was pretty excited when the bill went down for once instead of up, and these are just going
I
up.
mean, we have all LED lights. I can't think of anything, nothing has changed in that
Yeah,
building.
and our staffing's been the same for 2 years now, so.
Right, the way it's
That,
been used.
it's-
Nothing on the kitchen floor. And you know,
Nope,
that large refrigerator stays completely turned off.
right.
Um,
So,
well, you can get a meter to see what stuff is using too.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I may have to get somebody over there, but that is definitely something that I'm in the middle of working on that. Because I want to,
Okay, yeah, I just,
because it's a problem, I don't know why it's so high. So those numbers,
Yeah,
my eyes popped out.
Yeah.
Up with that.
get a shock.
I did see an extension cord going out to Stevie's garage.
I was just gonna ask you if there was something that's so bad.
Glow plugs on the trucks run off fire.
Right.
I think they're gonna grow out upstairs.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that would do it.
It's in the back room.
Yeah, mine was always wondering why his light bill was so high.
Yeah, as far as anything else goes on, to answer any question, I'll sit here all night with
Yeah, well,
you. Questions that you'd like to ask me.
no, I think it is most of this is pretty cut and dry. It's a normal operating budget.
Yeah, didn't have any big items on there for new equipment this year, as you can see. Just some odds and ends of things we want to pick up.
A little tidbit that, talking to John a while back about how the new truck is performing. And what did you say that we paid $550 for that truck?
$565.
And what's that truck cost now?
They said
Basically the same truck.
you wouldn't touch it for $1 less than $900,000.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah,
It's a point.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I was at Greenwood. And that was, you were telling me.
Yeah,
You're
So
looking at,
you got a new tower coming.
you're looking at a new engine, I think.
we're recently, looking at a couple new trucks. And, I think this,
scary.
I think the engine replacement's probably gonna be, if we bought new, it would be over $1 million. The tower, 3 years from now, we're looking at 2.5, I think they said.
So the town did well to buy it when we bought it.
It was a good move.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
And you guys put that together pretty quick, so that was good.
Yeah, and it's been a good truck.
900,000?
Yeah,
That's delivery.
Yeah, that's still, yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
It's delivered, but you have to drive it.
yeah, it's got a year warranty
Yeah, crazy.
on some of the stuff.
Crazy, crazy. Any more questions for John and Nick tonight?
Sorry about that confusion earlier.
No?
No,
No,
okay.
That's not you.
I was
That's not you.
confused,
Not your concern.
had me.
That wasn't you, Joe.
You present the numbers, you don't fund it, you present the numbers.
You were.
Yeah, this was
That's
well
what I think.
organized and everything, I'm just looking at the other one first, that's
I
all.
was waiting for you to blow the gas, but.
It was coming, it was coming.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, any other?
Get to sleep tonight?
Hopefully, I don't know, last night hurt me pretty
Wait a
bad.
minute.
Those middle of the night ones, I can't ever get back to sleep.
It was raining this week, right?
Mark.
It was a white Friday, raining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's raining every week.
I have to.
It's gonna stop one day.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
It doesn't.
Thank you.
I have a computer too.
any other
I mean,
budget questions?
those numbers you gave,
We're gonna meet again Thursday, and we take our vote,
just take a picture and email them.
the county.
Yeah. I just wondered why we had it. We were gonna talk about it.
No, I think it was just good information to see.
No,
Okay.
it's yours.
We take our vote for the whole, for all
Okay.
the donations.
It's okay.
What I hope to do is go through
I know.
Yes.
line for line for line, and take those in, sections or whatever.
Very good idea.
If that works.
Give them up to do it.
It works, yeah, it works. I got a set of questions.
No.
But I can ask them now.
Okay. Or you want to ask them now, it's a good time.
Well, I don't know if I know exactly what I want to ask. I want to talk about the library and the endowment and the increase. And I don't know why, because I try it every year and it's an unpopular thing. I get voted down,
It
I
is.
just vote for it anyway, but I just feel like I need to at least ask the question. I mean, we're in,
Go for it.
well, I mean, we're in a tough budget year, right? I'm trying to find money where we can.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got an organization that is asking for a significant increase.
They do every year.
I know, they do it every year, and I just don't know if we're in a position where I can be excited about that. But,
Yeah, so I mean, in the past, they came right out and told us, you either support the library or you don't come to the library
Well, as a town,
as a town, yes.
they did say you couldn't come to the library, just to buy your own card.
and it's not
Right.
huge, it's not huge.
And that was
You
proposed
know, it's
by,
really not, it's just, I
You
just,
sent a map.
I just,
7%.
yeah, I mean, but the other increase,
yeah,
the only other increase was, it seemed pretty minor, in any of the donations that were requested. And, I don't know, that one just always takes me by surprise.
And if you have any specific questions, let me know so I can talk to the library and get their answer, or ask, see if when they can come to a meeting if you want.
I'll take a look at it. Again, I think, I do this every year, and I don't think it matters in the end, I'll probably vote the way I do every year, but.
but you know, Jeff, I'm with you, and I get it that they have their endowment, they don't wanna touch too much of it, but it feels to me that they could be grabbing more than 5% of that 8 million and still be okay. That's my opinion.
I don't know how that's set up, that might be some trustee thing or something.
Well, the trustees vote on the percentage
Yeah,
that they take
right.
every year, and they cap it at 5%. But
So
there's
how
still,
much control we have over that, that's all.
well, we don't have any,
But
but,
their board of directors does, or whatever.
right, I guess what I'm saying is I think that they could, at some point, decide that 6% would still be okay for them for the rest of eternity to keep the 8 million in there. But,
We can recommend that to them.
no, it doesn't matter.
No, it
They
won't.
don't,
Oh,
they
well,
don't.
right now, if I understand it, the way it still is, if the town votes down the funding for the library, then the residents have to get their own card.
Right, I know how that
It
works.
won't be a town-funded library card.
Right, and the problem is that everyone gets really angry that anyone wants, it's not that we don't like the library, it's that you'd like a choice and maybe to push back on these increases every year.
How are they doing with the new position for the fundraising?
It seems to be paying, kind of, more or less paying for itself, I think.
Yeah, and it was flat, right? Or it's
So it's still not making any additional,
And
No,
times aren't great for those things.
no, they don't.
No matter what it is.
no.
Which is one reason we're asking for the increase.
Okay.
You know, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it went up $2,000 roughly, something like that. But if you have any direct
Yeah,
questions, let me know.
yeah, I'll take a look at it.
And I can either get an answer from the library, I'll see if she can come back out and spend a few minutes with us to discuss it.
And it didn't seem like the budget had a whole lot of fluff in it.
No.
You know, it's been tough for quite a few years and, you know, it's one thing if there's $1.5 million in the endowment, but 8 seems pretty high
I just
to
think
worry about.
there's a lot of increases this year, and just like,
Yeah.
like the school budget, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room, there's not much you can do about a lot of it. I just feel like we should take a look at what we can take a look at.
We certainly can. All right, is there a motion?
We'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
I didn't think anybody was gonna second it, I thought we were gonna be here for a while.
Jim,
I was gonna slow.
real estate taxes are about 78% of